Dear friends, this is Sriram. Today again I am here to discuss about some mistakes that you people are making while passing deposit entries in POS. Actually, while doing reconciliation at head office level of your deposit entries, we have to face lot of things. Lot of times we are unable to find out which amount is pertained to which store or which amount you people are making entry in POS, and that amount is where in our statement. That is a big problem for us to find out that correct amount and correct transaction. So discuss more thing about this today I am here, and I will discuss you, and I will also show you where you people are making mistakes and how you can correct this. You can correct it as a one mistake. It will make us more easy to do my work. So if individually you can correct your mistakes, our work will become easy for us. And head office, there are a lot of things to do in the month end, and in which this reconciliation is also one of the part of our work. So now first of all I will explain you what are the deposit entries and what are the deposit types, and for the particular deposit types how you will pass the entry, how you will select banks, amounts, deposit slip numbers, branch name, and etc. All these things in today's video I will discuss. So let's start it. Friends, first of all I want to tell you we have basically four types of deposits in our bank accounts. So one is cash deposit. Cash deposit contains two types of deposit. First, either it has been deposited through cash counter, direct cash at bank. Otherwise, some people are making cash deposit in cash deposit machine. So cash deposit machine and cash deposit at cash counter both are considered as a cash deposit. Second is credit card, debit card. We are having Axis Bank swipe machines. So in this swipe machine, if we are using any credit card, debit card transaction, and after doing settlement, we are getting a settlement slip, and this is our second type, debit card deposit. And the third one is net banking. Net banking is another bank deposit, and in this deposit, when anyone is making the transfer through account number and API code, account number and IFSC code, it will be considered as net banking. And the fourth one is UPI QR. Last month I think one soft copy has been shared with you of Axis Bank QR code, and in our swipe machine also one Bharat QR, it is implemented already. So a lot of people are using this, and some of the people are using soft copy QR code which has been sent by Sanjeev sir to you all. So whether you are making anywhere the payment through QR code or UPI ID, this has been considered as UPI deposit. Now further I will discuss how to pass deposit entry for each and every transaction type. So let's begin. Our first deposit is bank deposit at cash. Either it is cash deposit or cash counter, or it is deposited through cash deposit machine. It will be considered as cash deposit. In the cash deposit, once we click on the plus button, when we will pass the deposit entry, I am discussing here, and then I will show you how to pass in real time. So first of all, here select this correct bank, then select payment type cash, then fill correct amount, then type correct branch name. In cash deposit, either it is cash deposit machine or it is deposit through cash counter, branch name is mandatory, because in our statement if it is cash deposit we are getting only the branch name where the location is there. Based on that location we are able to find out that amount in our statement. So particularly in cash deposit you have to maintain bank branch name correctly, because on the behalf of that only we are able to find out that correct money in our bank statement, that transaction in our bank statement. So this is mandatory, branch name in cash deposit, either it is cash counter or it is cash deposit machine. Next one is deposit slip number. In a cash deposit transaction, it is not required to fill any particular deposit slip number, because we are not getting any particular deposit slip number when we are doing cash deposit at cash counter. But if you are doing cash deposit in cash deposit machine, we will get one transaction number, and in that case, in this deposit slip number, we have to fill that transaction number. Make sure it is cash deposit machine, then only you have to fill the transaction number in here cash deposit slip number. Later you have to choose correct date. Date is important because last year itself we have make one change. You people are not able to pass deposit and date in a further or back date, because a lot of people are what they are doing, they are depositing in some other day and passing their entries in some other day, and this is also lead to us reconciliation problem. So to avoid these problems, we have fixed one date. In current date, you deposit that and pass that entry in current date. That's all. Next one is choose correct deposit slip. This is also one big mistake some people are making here, because if they are to pass 2-3 entries in one day, suppose they are deposited in cash bank, and secondary they have swiped some card, third they have done some UPI transactions. Now what they are doing, they are doing cash transaction while passing deposit entry in POS. They are doing selecting cash, but in payment slip they are selecting some other payment slip. This also leads to a problem. So here also you have to select correct proper slip, and further you have to click on add button, and then one prompt message will be there. You have to select yes. If everything is correct, then the entry will be generated. Now how you will do it in real time, I want to show you there. So let's move to our POS screen. Friends, this is dashboard of any store. If you are login, you will see this kind of dashboard. Here in POS you will find out one bank deposit. I think you all know better. So this is for your information. This is store bank deposit. Here you have to click. Now once you click here, you will find another page. In this page, here a lot of transactions are there which you have done in your previous days. Here you will find one search button and one plus button. Search button is for if you are searching any particular transaction or any date, you have to select the date and then search. The particular date transaction will appear here. Otherwise, if you are making new entry, you have to click on the plus button. This plus button is only for make a new entry. Now if we click on the plus button, this type of window will be here. This prompt box is here. In this model box, we will select one bank first. Whatever bank you have done, either you are deposited in Axis Bank, HDFC Bank, Union Bank or ICICI. We have 4 banks only. So first, which bank you have done the transaction, that bank you have to select. After selecting the bank, it will show bank account number and GL code. Here it is making some issue. Okay, I am selecting one more time. Yes. Now if you select any bank, suppose I am selecting this HDFC, this bank account number of HDFC Bank is here, and our internal SAP general ledger code is here. These two things are disabled, you cannot change it, and this is based on the bank which you have selected. You cannot change it. Now the second column is payment type. Here you have to make sure that what the type of transaction is there, that you have to select. So if it is cash transaction, now because I am discussing now cash transaction only, so you have to select cash. After that, if you have to fill proper amount, how much is there, it is 30,000 or 40,000 or 3,000, anything is there. Suppose it is 30,000. now I have filled. Here I want to show you how this bank slip will come. I want to show you how bank slip will come in bank cash deposit. We have 2-3 types, 2-3 bank slips here. One is Union Bank. This type of bank slip you will get after depositing the money in bank, or if you are selecting any other. This is HDFC Bank slip. So these type of slip you will get from bank. This is cash deposit at bank cash counter. Now moving back to our window. Now suppose this slip has 23,500. So if we have to pass this entry, we have to select 23,500, the correct amount. After that, here the branch name is here. Now I am able to see is this is Mishrik. One store is there in Sitapur location, Mishrik. So any bank, you know better where you are depositing the money, that branch name, branch address you correctly know. So that branch name you have to mention it here, Mishrik. And if it is cash deposited counter, you can fill any number you are maintaining consecutively or anything, 00 or anything you can fill, but in case only bank deposit at cash counter, cash deposit at cash counter only. Now after that is have to select the here this date only, because we are recording this video on 7th July 7th August, so only 7th date is coming. After that we have to select choose file, and where the location that file is located, the scan file is located, so we have to select it. Select date. This button will highlighted. After clicking this, now this prompt box will come. If we will hit here share, this entry will be passed. Now this is the type cash deposited bank. What will happen if we deposited in cash deposit machine? Suppose we have deposited some cash in ICICI bank, then also we have to select ICICI bank. Cash is the same amount, we have to select according to slip. So I want to show you slip, how the slip will come. This type of slips you will see after depositing money in cash deposit machine. So here it is transaction number. Once you deposited the money in bank, one slip will come. In that slip you will find out this transaction number. This transaction number you have to maintain here, 6896. This is also for the same location. Misricom names are. I have taken both the slips from there only. Then date and choose file. This much is very simple. This is a very simple thing. You can do it very better. And once you click add, yes, it will be done. What is the problem doing this? But some people, what they are doing, we don't know. We are only able to know once we are doing reconciliation. Some of them are doing wrong bank name. Some are doing wrong branch name. Even sometimes they are uploading wrong slip also. So you have to make sure that before adding, before passing the entry, you have to make sure all these things are filled correctly. Now we are moving to our next. We have covered cash transaction through cash deposit at counter and cash deposit at bank, cash deposit machine. Now moving to another. This is debit card or credit card deposit. In the debit card or credit card also, actually in debit card type or credit card type or swipe machine, we have only the Axis Bank swipe machine. So that we have to select here Axis Bank only, and because of that in first row as I have written here Axis Bank only. If you see in last slide I have written here select correct bank first, but in next slide I have written select Axis Bank, because we know we have the Axis Bank only, so we have to select only one bank. Here in second column, payment type, you can choose debit card or credit card, anything you can choose. If there is more transaction in debit card, you can choose debit card. If there is more transaction in credit card, then you can choose this one. After choosing this, you have to fill correct amount. Then branch name. In debit card or credit card swipe deposit entry, you have to make sure 2-3 things. First, the payment type, it should be correct. Second thing, branch name. Here in branch name, some people are mentioning here what we don't know. They are mentioning it their own way, but this is the way. You have to make sure that in a branch name, if it is swipe deposit entry, settlement deposit entry, then your store name and store code must be there in branch name. In branch name, your store code and store name like this in this format, it has to be here. And in deposit slip number, what we are doing, some people are mentioning this is actually batch number. Some people what they are doing, last 2 numbers they have mentioned as deposit slip number. Some people they have mentioned 3 numbers, some people have mentioned 4, and some people mentioned correct all the digits which is coming here, all the digits they are mentioning. But in that case also sometimes it is a problem, because this is a serial number of each machine. Suppose we have 2 machines and both the machines are on same batch, 227. This is different store, this is different store. 2 different stores are showing the same batch number. In that case, if the amount will be same, suppose they have swiped the same amount for the transaction, now which amount goes to which store we are not able to know. To avoid this thing, we have make one changes. You have to maintain your TID oblique batch number. In deposit slip number, your terminal ID has to be there. In your settlement, I want to show you how the terminal ID will come. This is the settlement copy. Here, once you do take the settlement, after finishing settlement, okay, you will see that this is, look at here, this is your batch number and this is your terminal TID. So TID oblique batch number, you have to make sure to maintain it in bank deposit slip number, like this, and rest of the things are same, deposit date and deposit slip number. Now moving to deposit entry, how to pass in real time, I want to show you. Look at here, we have to click it plus button, then select Axis Bank only, because in our debit card transaction we have only one bank, Axis Bank. So select Axis Bank. Selecting Axis Bank, we have to make sure here to give the bank deposit type or payment type. So debit card or credit card, anything you can choose, and here you have to mention the correct amount. So how we will be able to know the amount? In the settlement we have 30,000 rupees. Suppose if I have to pass this one only, then what I have to do? I have to do this. We will mention here 30,000 amount. Then in store name, here, because this slip pertains to this store only, Misrick store. So here also I will mention this Misrick Dash J191. This is the store code. Like this, you have to maintain your branch name in swipe deposit only. Here in deposit slip number, what we will do? 8837 5377. 8837 5377. This is terminal ID now 000 and 189. This is the batch number 189. I want to show you one more thing. What some people are doing, they are mentioning this batch ID. This batch ID is not at all we are getting in our statement. If you are mentioning this, we will not be able to find out our PID, these things is not coming in our bank statement. So if you mention these kinds of things, we will not be able to get correct reference where the amount goes and which amount pertains to your store. So to make sure that this amount pertaining to you, you have to maintain terminal ID oblique your settlement batch number, like this only. Like this you have to maintain, and everyone has to maintain. This is the biggest problem lot of people are doing. I will show you how people are doing. Look at here. This is the deposit entry. Yes. Yesterday I was checking. Look, some people are making it very good. I will show you how people are doing here. Look. Look it. This is batch. How we will find out the amount? In branch name they have mentioned correct. Good, very good. But in payment slip, this is wrong. If we are making any formula, then we will download this sheet from our POS. Making any formula, it will create error. And in searching in the bank statement, how we will get the bank statement, that also I want to show you. Because based on your store code, we are not able to find out your amount. Like this, we are getting a statement from Axis Bank. Here first column is your terminal ID, and based on your terminal ID, your batch number is here, then your amount is here. This is the approval code, this is the amount, and so on. So to find out your correct amount, we have to check it here itself. Batch number is here, terminal ID is here. If you make like this, we will find out that this is a particular amount which pertains to you only. Okay, and after that select date, then choose deposit slip, click add and click yes, the entry will be done. Now we have covered two things, cash deposit and solid deposit. Now moving to next, we have another one, that is net banking. Sometimes what is there, some farmers are doing NEFT transactions, RTGS transactions, or some customers are making IMPS also. IMPS is done through account number and IFSC code only. When we are doing transactions from UPI application like Google Pay, Phone Pay or Beam UPI or Amazon Pay or any other UPI application, this is the transaction of UPI QR code. But if we are making transaction through our account directly to company's account using IFSC code and bank account number, then it will be considered as NEFT or IMPS or RTGS, which is net banking transaction. So in net banking transaction also there are, you can do it in any bank. You have to select here bank, then payment type, net banking, then correct amount you have to fill it, then customer name. In branch name, what we have to do, in branch name we have to fill a customer name, who is making NEFT transaction or who is making net banking transaction, that customer name you have to fill it here. And in deposit slip number, the correct one UTR number was there. If you are doing transaction through UPI or net banking, there must be one reference number or UTR number. That UTR number you have to make it sure to maintain it here. I will show you how this UPI or net banking will come. Look, this is IMPS. This is IMPS transaction some one store has done. So this is reference ID. Here in the reference ID or this one where I was here in deposit slip number, you have to make sure to maintain this number only, like this. Otherwise there will be problem to find out that amount. And then select date and then choose deposit slip. One note is here, sometimes UTR number has been written as RRN number. How RRN number will come? In some slips, I will show you how the RRN number will come. Look, this is IMPS transaction, and here it is mentioned as transaction ID, but some places it is written as RRN number. So RRN number, transaction ID, UTR number, reference number, these are all the same. So these things we have to maintain here in net banking transaction. Now moving to real transaction, how we will do in POS. Just click on plus button, select any bank where you are making transaction, but while selecting bank you have to make sure that the correct transaction has to be done in that bank only. In last 2-3 months we are seeing that a lot of people are doing what, they are selecting some other bank, transaction has been done in some other bank, then we have to internally check all of the statements where that amount goes. If we are not able to find out that amount, then we have to call that particular store manager or particular auditor or particular area manager of that area. It will create a huge problem. To find out a single amount, we have to check 1,000 times somewhere. So doing transaction, you have to make sure the correct bank. We have selected correct bank, this one. Then we have selected net banking, amount, suppose it is 80,000 rupees. Suppose we have to pass this entry only, then we have to say it 80,000. Now here customer name, who has done this. In the slip it is not coming who has done the transaction, but who has done the transaction you will know. So suppose someone has done this, I know that name. Here you have to make sure to maintain this UTR number or reference number or RRN number, whatever is there in slip, like this. So 22131890, 22131890, and some more number are here, 836. So this is 836. Now select bank deposit date, then choose file type, and click add, and yes, that's all, it is done. Now we have covered cash deposit, swipe deposit, net banking deposit. One still is there, and that is QR or UPI. Friends, this is the most difficult transaction to track, because sometimes what people are doing, if they are done transaction in swipe machine using Bharat QR code, in Bharat QR code what they have done, they have taken settlement of transactions at one time. Very good, because it has to be done at one time only, so they have done. But while passing deposit entry, what they are doing, they are clubbing that amount, this card settlement amount and UPI QR code settlement amount, that also they are clubbing in both. Although if you take the settlement, there is two different settlements. QR code is different settlement, and one more settlement is there for card transactions. So we have to tear that settlement copy in two different parts. Up to cash, this card type transactions, whatever the amount is there in settlement, that we have to pass it separately, and in QR code transactions we have to pass that entry separately. Further, to track the transaction of QR code, we are implementing one more change here. In QR transaction, if you are doing any number of transactions, your entry has to be passed on that number only. Means you have done 2 times 3 transactions, you have to make 3 deposit entries. You have to make, if you have done 10 transactions through Bharat QR code, or if you are doing transactions using company's QR code which has been shared as a soft copy of Axis Bank, then you are the only way to select the transaction in a one way. You have 1 transaction, 1 deposit entry, 1 transaction, 1 deposit entry. But if you are using Bharat QR, in Bharat QR there is a facility that you can do lot of transactions and take a settlement at one time. But in QR transaction, settlement is not doing in that way, it is as it is working in our card type settlement, because card type settlement all the amount is settling at one time. But if you are doing transactions in Bharat QR using our company swipe machine Bharat QR, in real time it is going to company's account. If one amount you have done, that same amount has been transferred to our company's account. So to do the deposit entry, you have to make sure that all the transactions entry has to be passed separately. Using Bharat QR or any other transaction, you have done 3 transactions of UPI, 3 transactions of 4 transactions, 5, any number of transactions, and that number of transactions you have to pass in POS itself. So I'll show you how people are doing this. Look at this. This gentleman has passed 1 deposit entry. $28,100. This is the card settlement, and then QR settlement is here. This is 2620 rupees. Now what this people has, this person what he has done, look at here, 30,720 rupees in a single bunch he passed that. Now how we will track this amount in our statement, because in our statement it will show in different transactions. Here because this transaction is a single, this amount will come in single. Here is it is 1 2 3 4 5 transactions, these 5 amounts will come separately, and this amount will come separately. So if we sum all the amount, then we will be able to find out this amount, but this will take time, and at doing this, while doing this reconciliation, we don't have time, we have to match a lot of transactions. So to avoid these things, we have to do, from here we have to tear it, this 20,800 rupees, 100 rupees, 28,100 rupees, this entry we have to pass separately, and this entry we have to pass separately. And for this, from now onwards, if it is single transaction, do it, no problem. If it is multiple transactions, then these each transactions, each entry has to be passed. To pass QR transaction deposit entry in POS, follow these instructions. First select correct bank, then select UPI QR code, then fill correct amount, then customer name. Here in branch name also, like our swipe machine settlement, we have to like our net banking settlement, net banking transaction entry, we have to maintain a customer name here. And in this deposit slip column, we have to give one reference number, that is UTR number, it is RRN number, or it is reference ID, or it is UPI ID. Because in Google Pay, if we are making transaction, Google Pay UPI ID is that reference number is showing as UPI ID. In Phone Pay it is showing UTR number, and in some other numbers it is showing reference number. So that number you have to show it here. I will show you where you will find this UTR number. This is the transaction slip of UPI or QR code. This is the UTR number. This is Phone Pay slip actually. So here this UTR number, this you have to maintain here in this column. Then select date, and then choose file. Now how to do it in real time in POS. Okay, moving to POS screen. Here click on plus button. It's logged out. Okay, now we are on POS screen. Go to bank deposit, click on plus button. Here we have to select correct bank where we have done QR transaction. If we have done through Bharat QR or soft copy of the QR code, then it goes to Axis Bank only. Otherwise, if you have done using account details through any Google any UPI application, it will go to any other bank where the transaction has been done. So suppose I am selecting this one. Now here we have to select this UPI QR code, transaction type, fill the amount. Now if we have to pass this entry, suppose we have to pass this entry. In this entry we will show 50,000 rupees it is showing. So 50,000 rupees we have to fill it here, 50,000. Now who has done, customer name, whatever the name is there of the customer, you put it here. Then reference number it is here. Double 218 4961. This is the number, and then select date, then choose your file, scan copy or the screenshot. and click on add, and yes, that's done. So this is the procedure of the QR code, but in QR code each and every transaction you have to pass it separately. This you have to make sure. You cannot club the amount. Suppose in a day you have done 3-4 transactions, now you sum the amount. Suppose you have done 10,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees, and again is 5,000 rupees, the amount is 17,000 rupees. Now you do one thing, you did club that amount 17,000 rupees, pass one entry, and that's all. No, you have to pass 3 separate entries, one for 10,000, one for 3,000, and one for whatever the amount is there. So to avoid these things, please do things in a correct way. You have to pass a single entry, that's all. Once you done, you have finished. But at the same time, we have to match lot of times transactions. In this transaction, what he has done, he has mentioned the batch ID. Look at here, this transaction. This is batch ID 9531. But in our statement, we will not get this batch ID number. No column is there for batch ID. So if you mention this number, we will not be able to find out this correct amount. Okay. So I hope you will understand all the things and you cooperate. Now in this settlement, I want to show you one more thing. Here it is 2 transactions. Although it has been done through Bharat QR code, at the time of transaction, slip is coming. So mentioning that slip only, you have to pass the deposit entry. So I hope you guys have understand all the things. Still you have any problem, you contact me or your particular area's auditor. So if you are having any issue, if you are facing any issue, you can contact your auditor or area manager. They will tell you. Okay, bye bye.